Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I'm Widya Septiani. In this opportunity, I would like to present about Kolb's experiential theory and learning cycle. David Alan Kolb, or we usually call David A. Kolb, was born 12th of December 1939. As MIT faculty member, Dr. David A. Kolb was interested in fit for students, and when he came up with this theory for experiential learning, he drew from the psychology and ideas of earlier theories in order to allow for educators to be able to both challenge and support their students better based on their learning style. Now, this theory is based on the different ways learning and development and take place and focuses specifically on the bond between these two processes of learning and development and how they can be applied and to produce the best result and most effective result for students, and this is typically applied at the university level. Student learning style can be defined as the cognitive, affective, and psychological characteristics of a student about how they understand some things, interacts, and responds to their learning environment, which is unique and relatively stable. In various literatures on learning, we will come across a number of concepts about student learning styles, and one of them is learning styles as proposed by Dr. David A. Kolb, an educational scientist from the United States who popularized this learning theory. Dr. David A. Kolb classified student learning style into four main trends. Let's say they are concrete experience, reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentation. The first is concrete experience. The students learn through feelings by emphasizing aspects of concrete experiences, prioritizing relationships with others, and sensitivity to the feelings of others. Students here involve themselves completely through new experiences. Students tend to be more open and able to adapt to the changes they face. And the second is reflective observation. In this part, the students learn through watching, and the emphasis is observing before assessing, listening to a case from various perspectives, and always listening to the meaning of things being observed. Students will use their thoughts and feelings to form opinions. Students here observe and reflect on their experiences from various aspects. And the third is abstract conceptualization. In this part, the students learn through thinking and are more focused on logical analysis of ideas, systematic planning, and intellectual understanding of the situation or situation at hand. The students create concepts that integrate their observations into sound theory, relying on systematic planning. And the fourth is active experimentation. Here, the students learn through action or doing, tend to be strong in terms of ability to carry out tasks, dare to take risks, and influence others through their actions. Students will appreciate their success in completing their work, their influence on others, and their achievements. Students use theory to solve problems and make decisions. According to Dr. Kolb, the experiential learning is a process in which knowledge results from different combination of capturing and transforming experiences. We can understand experience in two different ways, through concrete experiences and abstract concepts. We can then change experiences into ways, through reflective observation or active experimentation. Furthermore, Dr. Kolb argues that each individual is not dominated by one particular learning style in absolute terms, but tends to form a particular combination and configuration of learning styles, which he classified into four types. The first is diverging, the second is assimilating, the third is converging, and the fourth is accommodating. Okay, let's take a look. The first is diverger. This type is a combination of concrete experience and reflective observation, or in other words, a combination of feeling and watching. The students with the diverger type have an advantage in the ability to imagine and see concrete situations from many different points of view. Then connect them into something round and whole. His approach to every situation is to observe rather than act. Students like this like learning assignments that require them to generate ideas and are fond of gathering various information, like issues about literature, culture, history, and other social science. They usually ask more about why, the role and the function of the teacher that is suitable for dealing with this type of student is as a motivator. And the second is assimilator. The second type is a combination of abstract conceptualization and reflective observation, or in other words, a combination of thinking and watching. Students with the assimilator type have the advantage of understanding and responding to various information presentation and organizing, summarizing them in logical, concise, and clear format. Usually this type of student tends to be more theoretical, preferring to work with abstract ideas and concepts rather than working with people. His subject of interest are science and mathematics. They usually ask more about what, the role and the function of a teacher that is suitable of dealing with this type of student as an expert. The third type is converger. This type is a combination of abstract conceptualization and active experimentation, or a combination of thinking and doing. Students here are able to respond to various opportunities and are able to work actively in any well-defined task. Students like to learn when faced with a question with a definite answer and immediately try to find the right answer. He was willing to learn by trial and errors, only in an environment that he or she considered relatively safe from failure. Convergent students excel at discovering the practical function of ideas and theories. Usually they have good skills in problem solving and decision making. They also tend to prefer technical or applicative tasks. He or she tends to be unemotional and prefers to. Subject of interest are science and engineering. They usually ask more about how, the role and the function of the teacher that is suitable for dealing with this type of student is as a coach who can provide guided practice and can provide appropriate feedback. And the fourth types is accommodator. This type is a combination of concrete experience and active experimentation, or in other words, a combination of feeling and doing. This type of student likes to apply subject matter in a variety of new situations to solve real problems they face. The strength of this type of student is to have good learning ability from the results of real experiences that they do themselves. They like to plan and involve themselves in new, challenging experiences. In trying to solve problems, they usually consider human factors or to get input or information rather than technical analysis. They tend to act on intuition or impulse rather than logical analysis. Often use trial and error to solve problems, are impatient and eager to act. If there is a theory that is not in accordance with the facts, tend to ignore it. Their favorite subjects are related to the field of business or engineering. They usually ask more about what if. The role and the function of the teacher in dealing with this type of student is trying to expose students to open-ended questions, maximizing student opportunities to learn and explore something according to their choice. The use of the problem-based learning method seems very suitable for this full type of students. Alright, let's come to the next is demonstration. Now, let's move away to this theory and consider a practical demonstration of Dr. Kolb's learning cycle. Let's say this is our subject, Lisa. Lisa is an ideal learner because she methodically thinks through just an Kolb's theory. Lisa likes a cake a lot. Next week, her sister is gonna be married, and she would like to make a wedding cake for her sister. Since she's never made a cake before, Lisa processes only abstract data to conceptualize is what it will take to get the job done. She's got a rough idea about the ingredients and materials she will need it. So she gets flour, she gets some eggs, butter, and so on. And now Lisa is ready for some hands-on experimentation applying her abstract ideas about how to use her new materials. Lisa early gets to work on this project, and it looks like Lisa's experiment has spoiled the decoration. In other words, her concrete experience is not what Lisa had in mind when she was merely conceptualizing how her action would turn out. She's absolutely upset, but fortunately, Lisa is an accommodating learner. She is willing to change her plan of action in view of her previous experience, but she is out of commission for a while. That will give her plenty of time to reflect on where she went wrong the last time she tried her hand at decorating the cakes. And she can also contemplate what to do next to achieve his desired outcome. On the next day, Lisa ready to get back to work, but this time she will conceptualize her plan more responsibly. First, she observed a professional baker at work. Now, her integration of knowledge pertaining to the task at hand will be better informed than last time. And next, Lisa tries her hand at baking under the supervision of her professional mentor. In other words, she experiments with her newly acquired concepts in a controlled environment. Finally, Lisa is ready to get back to her project. But this time, her experience goes much better. Having applied the lessons learned from her previous experience, Lisa avoids her past mistakes and strives for a better outcome. And wow, it looks like Lisa's passion paid off. And now, she can bring this cake to her sister's wedding with confidence. And it's all thanks to experiential learning. And what next for Lisa? No one knows, and no one cares, I think. But of this, we can be sure that David A. Kolb would be proud of in cycling through each one of Kolb's learning stages. Lisa has successfully demonstrated the merit of his theory if only every learner we are as accommodating as Lisa. Okay, that's all my presentation about this theory. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.